financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is a serious one. $1.2 million in credit card debt. Good morning, Brian Small.
My freaking God. $1.2 million worth of credit card debt. Is this a billionaire carrying $1.2 million worth of credit card debt by any chance?
Why would a billionaire ever carry any credit card debt?
I don't know. Who the hell would ever have $1.2 million worth of credit card debt? How freaking ridiculous could that possibly be? It must be, some sort of politician.
Is it possible that I could say good morning to Kelsey Samasco as well?
Yes, it is fine. But good morning.
Good
Brian
morning,
is in $1.2 million worth of credit card debt.
Brian doesn't have a single dollar of credit card debt.
So
Ever. Period.
Well, that's great for you. And everyone
It is
who's
great for
watching,
me. You know what?
all of
It
you-
is absolutely
Okay.
great for me.
All of you watching out there, I want you to join me at this moment, and I'll go as follows. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations, Brian Small. You are the #1 non-credit card abuser in the world. But for all of us,
That would probably be me. Yeah.
But now, I want you to
I want a
join me
T-shirt
in
that says
something
that.
else. I want you all to go to your rec room, find the darts where you have them, come back, sit down, and when I go 1, 2, 3, fling them at Brian on the TV.
Why would you want to ruin your TV set?
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Well, then you could just go charge another one.
Exactly.
So-
That is a problem.
Once you're in $1.2 million worth of credit card
Yeah,
debt,
there is no turning back.
What's 1.3?
Yeah, what's 1.3?
Well,
That's
you
a
know,
good point.
there's a lot of truth to that. Not even at the 1.2 and the 1.3. There is certainly a mentality that when you get to 20,000, 25,000 of credit card debt, and you're thinking about charging something, you're not really thinking in terms of, does it really matter? What you're kind of saying to yourself is, well, my minimum payment is already $1,000 a month. If I buy this, what's it going to go? 1,001? Who cares? So that is something that happens. And when I say $1.2 million of credit card debt, I always like to say when it comes to credit card debt, you are not alone. You are probably alone if you have 1.2 million, but there's zillions of people out there that are carrying a lot of credit card debt.
You know the minimum monthly payment on $1.2 million of credit card debt is approximately $30,000 a month?
Yeah, it would be
What?
just take 2.5% of that amount.
$30,000 a month.
And that's the minimum.
All right, so who is this person?
$360,000
It just so
a year.
happens to be our new head of Health and Human Services, RFK Jr.
Well, he needed to get a job, clearly, because he got $1.2
Yeah.
million worth of credit card debt. Does that
We
job
tried
pay?
not to get too political on
How does
here,
that
so
job
I'm not
pay?
going to. What did you say?
What does that job pay?
Well,
That's a great
the article,
question.
because it's in a zillion articles if you go and research it. I just popped out CNBC and ABC as I looked at it, but basically, his financial disclosures said that he's only showing about $30,000 of income after paying all the expenses. He has a lot of income coming in. He's selling a lot of stuff and so forth, and he also had 30-year mortgages worth up to $10.5 million. But the $1.2 million in credit card debt, most of it was with American Express at 23% interest. So that's kind of remarkable.
Shame
to
on
me.
you, American Express. Shame on you. And shame on all of these credit card companies for issuing such a blanket amount of credit that people can get that they can't afford. Do you remember the
So
first
is it the credit card companies that are at fault
Yes.
exclusively?
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you remember the first credit card
Diners Club.
Right. You know how hard it was to get one of those?
Yes.
Yeah, you had to basically pledge your soul and your firstborn to get a $500 line of credit on
we used
Diners
to have
Club.
laws. We used to have usury laws that applied too, that limited the rate. Actually, Trump has said, but we haven't heard anything about it in the new administration, that he was favorable to a cap of interest rates at 10% on credit card companies. But if you think, it's never going to happen. But what do you think would happen if that occurred? It would clobber the economy. Because what would happen is all of the existing credit cards would be capped at where they are.
Actually, I think
lines
would be reduced because the risk for banks.
They'd reduce them to the amount of the outstanding balance. They wouldn't extend any credit. You'd have no consumer purchasing. Consumer purchasing drives the economy.
Now, remember that the banks lend this money because they're getting 24 to 30% interest on the money.
That can absorb their losses.
Right. It's an extraordinary reward to the bank for the risk that they're taking.
There is risk.
Well, but you have to look at the percentage of acceptable default to a credit card company is less than 3%. That's what they determine that they're allowed to lose, and they're still making billions.
Yes, but
trillions.
But they have to still be profitable. If they lose their profitability on credit cards, then they're going to have to charge elsewhere in order to make it up.
Jamie Dimon will figure out a way.
But the bottom line is, if that law went into effect, the availability of credit would tank.
Yes, and
if
the
that
economy
happened,
would be hurt.
it'd be a
You're
big
100%
problem.
right.
That's why, when we talk about an individual being in the credit card trap, that's the individual situation where they can't pay down the credit cards because just making the payments monthly uses up all their disposable income. Mm-hmm. The economy, the American economy, the world economy is also in a credit card trap. It can't afford to legislate and reduce interest rates to reasonable rates, because to do so would be a tremendous drawdown on available credit, which would affect spending, and growth is what, if you don't have growth, you have a recession. Two quarters of negative growth is a recession. So it's a big problem. But when we come back from the break, I want to focus on Joe, the average consumer,
not RFK,
rather than 1.2 million.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
For almost 60 years, Samasco Law has been the trusted source for helping families navigate the uncertain world of estate planning and elder law. And now, our firm is growing even stronger with the addition of attorneys Joe Frazard and Kelsey Samasco. 2 more lawyers to make sure your family is protected now and into the future. Call Samasco Law today for a free consultation. Our hardworking team is standing by to provide you peace of mind. Samasco Law. Protect what matters.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, we're back. All right, so RFK's got his problems. Let's just talk about the normal American consumer. Let's say you've got $80,000 of credit card debt. Is that unheard of?
It's not unheard of. It's a little bit high from the standpoint of the average person walking through the door, but it's not outrageous. And having $80,000 worth of unsecured debt is really kind of normal these days, because it's not just the credit card debt. Tack on the unknown debt. You know, the one that we don't like to talk about? The $150,000 worth of student loans people are carrying? The $250,000 worth of student loans people are carrying?
Why are you looking at me when you're saying
Because
that?
you're a younger person.
When people come into you with credit card problems, what's the range of the credit card debt, low to high, that is
Anywhere
typically,
from-
in your mind, out of control?
Out of control, anything over $12,000 is out of control.
And then
But-
what do you see up to how much?
Up to, I just had somebody come in with $200,000 worth of credit card debt.
Okay, so let's take 80. Here's I just want to put some numbers on it. $80,000 of credit card debt. Let's assume you've got 23% interest on the cards, like RFK, and your annual income is $100,000. Your minimum monthly payment, typically 3% now.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's $2,400 a month you have to pay on those cards just to make the minimums.
Well, wait, don't forget, it's not $2,400 pre-tax dollars. It's $2,400 post-tax dollars.
Right. That's right.
Which I understand. We're
Gotcha.
talking
so,
about
so
that.
let's put numbers on that, okay? Pre-tax to post-tax. Okay. Your annual minimum monthly payments are $28,800. I'm just multiplying $2,400 times 12. Your interest is $18,400. Let's assume you're in a 20% tax bracket. If you're in a 20% tax bracket, to pay $28,800, you need gross income of $36,000. Going right to your point,
Yep.
right with you. So,
30
Joe needs $36,000 of his $100,000 of income just to service his credit card habit.
Habit. That's an
That's
interesting
rough.
one.
36% of his gross income.
And that's assuming he's not building more debt on top of that $80,000.
Oh, but he is. See, that's the
always
thing.
is.
Or it's
That's
certainly not going down.
he has $80,000 worth of credit card debt today, and 12 months from now, he'll have $80,000 worth of credit card debt, because Joe cannot survive. What he's doing is he'll pay down the $2,400, and he'll charge up $2,400
The credit card charge.
every single month. And what happens is actually
It goes to
the
maxes
balance
out.
keeps going up just a little bit, but a hair. And he says, I never make any progress. No, you never make any progress, because you're not really paying the debt. All you're doing is paying the interest and borrowing it again, and paying the interest
and it's
and
going up
borrowing
because
it again.
his cost of his expenses exceed the interest and his expenses. So it has to go up unless he was able to trim his expenses. Now, I couldn't resist. Let's do the same analysis for RFK. 23% on $1.2 million, $276,000 of interest. Minimum monthly payment at 3%, that's $36,000 a month, times 12 is $432,000 a year.
Do you know that he
He's
only
in a-
gets paid $246,000 a year as head of health and
He has other
human
income.
services?
He has other
Keeping
income.
full body
Let's
chill.
assume he's in a 32% bracket, because he has, when I read these articles, he has some major income. 32% bracket means he has to gross $635,000 a year just to cover the minimum monthly payments. That
I'm not, somehow.
is insane.
While I feel bad for Joe with $80,000 worth of credit card debt, I have no empathy whatsoever for RFK.
No.
I just don't.
No, because there's a certain. We all understand the credit card trap. I understand it. I was in it when I was in my 40s and 50s. I understand it. It's you're making a living, but you're spending beyond your means because you've got children and you want to give them the things that you want them to have, the dance lessons, all the extracurriculars.
That's normal.
You want to go on the
Right?
nice vacations.
Yeah.
You want to treat yourself. You want to drive the nice cars. And even though you're making a decent income, you're still living beyond your means. But
that's normal for couples
that can explain
in their 50s.
That can even
normal
explain
people.
$150,000 of credit card debt.
Do you know what explains
But it can't
1.2?
explain 1.2.
I'll explain how he got to 1.2. He's an idiot. Period. There's no
Fair.
question whatsoever. I don't care how much money he
I
makes.
would say that is an opinion, so that
It
you
is
don't
my
get-
opinion.
In this litigious world, you need to be somewhat
All right,
cautious.
it is my
in
opinion.
asserting statements.
That being said, it is foolish, and that is for
Yeah.
darn
I
sure.
wouldn't even say that. My opinion is not that he's an idiot. It's my opinion is it's idiotic to allow anyone to get into that situation.
How did American Express let that happen? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
Where did
Because
the
of-
bank go? Hey,
Because-
we're just not doing this anymore.
They saw
Well,
Kennedy and they said, go
that,
for
that is
it.
such a simple question to answer. You can answer it yourself. It's right here. on
Gordon
the
Gekko
outline.
said it. Greed is
No,
good.
the answer is they're receiving $432,000 of interest per year on the money.
3 years, they're covered their nut.
Yeah, that's if he was to file bankruptcy, and they know he's not going. He's the best risk for them. He's not going to file bankruptcy.
Yeah.
He's probably not going to do debt resolution, even though he could. I could say we could solve his credit card problem, but he's not going to do that. He'll probably ultimately
How
borrow
many
the
American
money.
Express cards do you think he must have? Do you think? Like, it's
I
not,
bet he
know
has.
it's not
He's
a
got
wall.
one of those wallets where you open it up and a thing just folds down.
Well, there's that.
All American Express.
Isn't the black
The
card?
black
one?
card has an unlimited
Yeah.
unlimited.
Well, I think
Probably just has
honestly,
one.
I think that this is a really great example of how these credit card debt issues aren't unique to people, right? Everyone is in credit card. Well, you shouldn't be in credit card debt, but so many people are in credit card debt, and so many people are walking around with it, not doing anything about it because they're embarrassed.
Yeah.
If he's in that amount of credit card debt and he's willing to, potentially get some help, make a phone call. Make a phone call because you never know how your life can improve by
You
dealing
need to
with
address
it.
things. Let's take a break and we'll come back.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
So we only have one last question for you. If your son passes away before you, do you want his share to go to his kids or your new daughter-in-law?
Talk about inheritance.
Yeah, sweetie, and I'm gonna spend it all on you.
The kids.
You've worked hard your whole life to create a lasting legacy for your heirs. Let Samasco Law help you make the right decisions to protect the ones you love. Samasco Law, protecting what means most, because that's what we do.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Time for announcements. I want to announce THAV Gross has opened a new office downriver in the Horizon building on Eureka Road. So now we're in Flint, downriver, and also our home office in Bingham Farms. Remember, you can always come in for a free consultation. You can do it by Zoom conference, in the office, any way that works best for you. Just call 888-235-HELP or go to the website, thavgross.com, to sign up. Debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business law issues, elder law issues with Pat or Kelsey, disability issues with Jeff Kirshner. Again, sign up at lawandreality.com or thavgross.com or just call 888-235-HELP. Also, if you go to the website, you'll see there's free reports. Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions by Jeff Linden and myself. Bankruptcy, Is It Right for Me by Brian Small. How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure. Business Formations, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan. And The Retiree's Guide to Social Security by Pat Samasco. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV Gross, Samasco Law, Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
All right, we're back. All right, so just a little update on credit card numbers because we've been tracking them. Third quarter of 2024, the total amount of credit card debt in the U.S. was $1.17 trillion. Fourth quarter is now out, is at $1.21 trillion. So that's a significant growth in one quarter.
What's going to be really interesting to see is, and I predict that at the end of first quarter of 2025, you will see that credit card debt stayed steady. Normally, historically, what happens is in the first quarter of every year, credit card debt gets paid down significantly.
With tax refunds?
Tax refunds, people paying their Christmas bills. I mean, this is all Christmas holiday
So
spending.
you're saying it'll stay flat, which is effectively is an increase.
So the last time, in 2022, it was paid down. 2020
Because of COVID.
Well, 2021 because of COVID. 2022, it was paid down a little bit. 2023, it was flat. 2024, it was flat. 2025, it's going to be flat.
All right, we'll see where it is. All right, so
But for the 40 some odd years before that, it
always
dipped.
could go down.
Yep.
So we'll check that and we'll come back and we'll look at that when we get to the end of the first quarter. What do we do with the credit card debt? What is the way of getting rid of the credit card debt? I don't care about RFK.
Okay, always start with...
He can deal with his own problems. I care about Joe with the $80,000.
So we always start with the analysis of what's the least costly, most effective method to get somebody out of debt. That will always be a Chapter 7 bankruptcy.
If you qualify.
If you qualify. One and done. It eliminates the debt, lets you keep your assets, and
fast question.
walk away from
You
the
hear
debt.
these commercials where these debt settlement companies are making it sound like this is such a better deal. You don't need to file bankruptcy. You can do this.
So the premise behind that is people have a fear that their credit score is going to be hurt. Okay? And a bankruptcy will lower your score. But if you've reached the point where most people are when their credit cards are maxed out,
It's going down anyway.
you can't
Borrow.
do anything. You can't borrow any more money. So your credit score is absolutely worthless.
It's a fiction.
So if you eliminate your debt, your credit score will drop a couple hundred points.
And then?
It will regrow and it will heal.
And you'll have available credit if you need it and if you use it properly, hopefully. But you can't get available credit if you've got the credit card debt.
You know the funny thing is people will come into me and they'll say, hey, I've got $40,000 worth of credit card debt, and if I ruin my credit, I'll never be able to get a car. And they're paying 25 to 30% interest on their credit cards, and they're worried about getting a car. So the car payment will be higher, but the minute you get through a discharge in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, every car dealer in the city will sell you a car.
At decent interest rates.
Let's just say they'll sell you at 20% interest. Okay, what did that cost you? It cost you an extra $100 a month. How much were you paying on your credit cards every month?
Zillions.
You were paying $2,000 or $3,000 a month on your credit card bills so that you didn't have a high car payment. It's ridiculous.
The other fallacy to it is this. If you do debt settlement, or even if you do debt resolution, which we do, which is differently, you're still going to, if you've got $80,000 of credit card, you're still going to end up paying off those cards over 2-3 years and actually spending $40,000, about half of the money to do it. If you do a bankruptcy and you qualify, you get rid of $80,000 of credit card debt in 3 months, and it costs you a couple grand.
Yeah.
There's no better economic deal than a Chapter 7 if you get there. But if you don't qualify for a 7,
then we look
what
at
do you
Chapter
do?
13. Then we're going to pay back as little as we humanly can pay back. Right?
And we
Over a period of 3
prioritize,
to 5
because if
years.
you have tax problems, your money goes to that. And if you're behind on your mortgage, your money goes to that.
Yeah, the most important debt gets paid first. House, then car, then IRS, state of Michigan, and then credit cards.
And if there's nothing left,
too
they
bad.
get nothing.
They get nothing.
So a lot of times when you do a Chapter 13, the credit cards get paid off at zero.
Most times when you do a Chapter 13, credit cards are paid back less than 10 cents on the dollar.
All right, so when would you do debt resolution?
When it makes more sense to pay less money. Okay, so if Chapter 7 doesn't work and Chapter 13 is going to pay back everybody in full, but I can negotiate your credit card debt away for 50 cents on the dollar, the Chapter 13 can be 3 to 5 years. Getting rid of your credit card debt through negotiation can be 18 to 30 months. So you can be done in half the time.
At less cost.
At less cost.
So it all comes down to, Brian likes to say it's individual to the individual in terms of the problem and the solution. But really it comes down to analysis. We always go through an analysis. Do you qualify for a 7? Yes or no? If you don't qualify for a 7, then we evaluate, would you be better in a Chapter 13 or would you be better in debt resolution? The ultimate answer is, what's the method to get rid of the debt at the least cost and in the fastest method? It's formula based from the standpoint of your circumstance, and it has an objective answer. It requires the analysis. Just believing a commercial that says we have the best solution because you qualify for this secret program, which there are no secret programs, is not the way to go. You need analysis. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.